everybody, welcome back to another Switch 2-week dive where we take a look at all those interesting, weird Switch games coming out in the next 2 weeks. Now for this period, we're looking at everything between the 4th and the 18th of September, of which there's about 40 games coming out total, but we're only going to cover about 10 of them. So let's get started with our first game that appears to be just a running joke in my life, Spider Solitaire Minimal Edition. Now, if you don't understand what the long-standing joke is, it's just the joke that they keep releasing Solitaire games, about 100 or 1,000 of them on Steam, and now they're all bleeding over onto the Switch as well. This is not anything fancy. This is a Solitaire game. You know what Solitaire, I know what Solitaire is. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but they do say this is the minimal edition, specifically beautiful minimalistic design. Nothing will disturb you from your puzzle. Now that's just a nice way of saying they put literally no effort into it and all they gave you was a basic-ass Solitaire game. But hey, positive thing, it's only 69 cents. Nice. Alright, so our first real game on the list is called Party Hard 2. This is the sequel to Party Hard, 1. Party Hard 2 pits you against your neighbors who are throwing a very loud party at 3 a.m. and you have just heard the end of it. Now, a normal person in this situation would just call the police, but no, you have a better idea. You're gonna go over there and literally murder everyone that you see in the most creative and gruesome ways that you can possibly come up with. Now, this game supports up to 2 players locally. There is no online play as far as I've noticed. You're going to have dozens of different traps and combos. You can actually make things interact with each other. For example, you can add water to electricity and electrify and murder tons of people all at the same time. And if you're into that super dark, macabre kind of humor, then this is probably up your alley. Also, you're probably a serial killer. Party Hard 2 is going to run you $19.99. Next up, we have a Cave Story Mega Man-esque inspired game called Meganoid. Now, if you're familiar with roguelikes, then you're already familiar with the formula. You know that each time you play is going to be procedural levels that are going to be different each time. You do have one main ending boss you're going to need to take out on every run. And through each run, you're going to pick up different items, powers, collectibles, that sort of thing that change the way that you play the game. Fun fact about Meganoid, it actually came out on Steam in 2017, possibly other platforms as well. Has only 5 or 6 reviews. They're kind of mixed, and a lot of people cite that the game is very difficult, and it's certainly no Spelunky. Now, whether that's true or not will be left up to you, and you can pick it up for $9. After that, we have a game called Wintermoor, the Tactics Club. Now, if you're familiar with Final Fantasy Tactics or any of those strategy turn-based games, this is very similar to that. So Wintermoor Tactics Club takes a bit of a visual novel approach to their storytelling. Through the narrative, you're going to play a character who's just trying to survive high school and starts a school club. In the school club, apparently, you play a lot of D&D tactics-like adventures to tell the story and progress the narrative through the game. They do tote that you're going to have 7 playable characters and dozens of unlockable upgrades across more than 40 battles, and how you choose to do those and spec your characters is completely up to you. If you want to play that new adventure, that's going to run you $19.99. After that, we got a game called Hotshot Racing. Now, this appears to be Virtua Fighter 1990s era-esque inspired racing game. This is an arcade racing game that's just gonna be insane. Cars go insanely fast, your handling is tight. Now, I know you're wondering, well, do I have to play this by myself or can I play this with... You can play with 8 people online anytime you want. I knew that was gonna be your question. And check this out, you have different modes like just the regular Grand Prix if you want to race, or you can play a drift mode, or they also have a cops and robbers mode. Cops try to catch the robbers, robbers try to evade the cops. Different modes, arcade racer, stupid fast and fun, great game. By the way, can you tell that I'm really not a fan of realistic driving? Gran Turismo needs to get out of here, I'm not about that. Hotshot Racing is going to run you $15.99. After that, we have a game called Space Robinson. Now, I believe a Lost on Steam on Space Robinson a long time ago on PC. This is just a port of the PC title. Now, Space Robinson describes itself as a hardcore roguelike game in which every play is obviously going to be different. This one gears itself a little bit more towards Enter the Gungeon, if you're familiar with that. You're going to be able to pick up different weapons, upgrades, perks, abilities, skills, that sort of thing. You're familiar with the formula. This one just uses a sci-fi space take on the, kind of dated, regular dungeon formula. But, you've played this before. You know what kind of game this is. This is just a different one with a different take. Do you like space? Sure, Space Robinson might be right up your alley. Space Robinson is going to run you $10. Are you familiar with the game called Papers, Please, where you sit at a desk and stamp passports and make decisions based on people's lives and the information you're given? Well, next up, we have a game called Death and Taxes. Except this time, you're choosing whether people are going to live or die. Now, if I were playing this game, I would immediately just go through and stamp die on every single passport and person's information that I possibly could, but I'm also an asshole, so you'll probably play this slightly differently than me, probably the way that it was meant to be played. You might actually read the informational cards you've been given and make decisions based on their actual life and history and gameplay progression, instead of just, again, like me, marking die, 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 die on every single, again. This is probably not a game for me. I should probably take these a little bit more seriously. Also, this game has various endings, including a couple secret ones. Nothing is certain in life besides death and taxes, and also the fact that this game is going to cost you $12.99. After that, we have a game called Minoria. Now, you may notice right away that this game has a very interesting visual style. That is the result of hand-painted 2D art with the addition of cell shading and some 3D kind of interesting graphics. Now, gameplay-wise, this seems to be a bit of a combination of the tactical and technical combat of Dark Souls mixed with kind of a style of Hollow Knight, and I think you can see where I'm gathering that from. Now, they do say the game encourages careful and planned engagement and patient play. So you can't just run into each dungeon and each area and just, mash the A button and expect to win. You're going to have to fight bosses carefully. You're going to have to dodge and jump and move out of the way and parry. All things, again, similar to Hollow Knight. Their combat is not just going to be a walk in the park. If any of this sounds interesting to you, this game is going to run you $19.99. Next up, goddamn. Sometimes, once in a great while, there comes along a game where you just say, this is exactly what I needed in my life. This is what my life has always been missing. Enter stage right, a game called Fight Crab. I'm just going to let this video play and you can make the decision for yourself. It's going to run you $19.99. All right, next on our list is a game called Iris.Fall, or Iris.Fall. Now, this game is super cool. Now, this is another game that I covered early on the channel, I believe last year. Iris.Fall is all about puzzles and progression through use of light and shadow. If you're into the slow burn puzzle atmosphere, especially with a game so cool as this that combines 2D and 3D in a lot of their puzzles, it was just such a delight to play, and it has a really dark and spooky atmosphere. Highly recommend you guys check this one out when that comes out. It's gonna run you 20 bucks. And last but certainly not least on our list is Super Mario 3D World All-Star. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Now this is going to combine 3 different 3D Mario games all into one. You're going to get Super Mario 64. You're going to get Super Mario Sunshine. For those of you not aware, that was a GameCube title. And then Super Mario Galaxy, which came out on the Wii. There's not much I can really say about these games you guys don't already know. Super Mario 64 is the oldest game on the planet. Super Mario Sunshine, you just spray shit with a water bottle on your back. In Super Mario Galaxy, you run around very small planets in 3D kind of weird gravity-esque modes. They're great games. You know these games. You've grown up with these games. Or you were just born recently, in which case you shouldn't be playing Switch anyway because you're like 5 years old. Anyway, there you go. That's the 3D Mario. You can play all the Marios. You can play, well, not all of them, but most of them. Anyway, this game's going to run you $60. That's insanely expensive, but for people who are Mario fans, I think you'll pay it anyway. So that's it. That's your quick look at all the Switch games coming out in the next 2 weeks. Like I said, there's at least 40 games coming out, probably way more than that. Nintendo's page updates all the time, and they don't always list all their games, but at least bare minimum there are 40 games coming out in the next 2 weeks. This is just a slice, just kind of the most off-the-wall, interesting, and usually indie titles, except for like the Mario one. Obviously gotta cover that. Anyway, if any of these look interesting to you, if you get anything out of these videos, please let me know in the comments. It's very helpful, because otherwise I'm just gonna stop making videos. You don't comment, I'm just gonna stop making videos. I don't know. And that's it. There's your game. So until next time, burn bright, everybody.